Thank you, Minister. What has the UK's response been to the International Court of Justice ruling in July that the Israeli settlements in the occupied Palestinian territories were illegal?
On the advisory opinion itself, as I'm sure the committee knows, we're still considering it. It's quite a far-reaching opinion with some novel elements, and we want to treat it with the rigour and the seriousness that it deserves. But on the substantive point you make, we agree that the settlements are illegal. That has been our long-standing position, and we want to see them ended. We want to see a move back towards a two-state solution. We think that the fastest way to get the Israelis to leave occupied Palestinian territory is through negotiations where the Israelis can have confidence in their security, and the Palestinians too can have confidence that they're going to have the stability and security that they require. So, on some of the fundamental policy questions of the advisory opinion, we are in total accord. It's consistent with long-standing British policy. On the detail of the advisory opinion from a legal perspective, it will take us a little bit more time, I'm afraid.
Thank you. And we were in the West Bank a couple of weeks ago, and we saw, as many others have reported, some of the extremist actions by Israeli settlers against Palestinians in Area C. Schools were being burned, mosques were attacked, livestock was being stolen. It's a particularly awful situation. It feels like the UK's response of just providing advice to businesses not to trade in those settlements is not enough in that context, particularly when we have such a strong response to the ICJ's ruling on the Chagos Islands. It feels like our response in this case has been much weaker. Are we going further enough? And is it appropriate for us to be negotiating a new trade agreement with Israel under the current situation?
Yeah. So let me say, since this is the first time that settler violence has come up, that the government tracks this closely. We recognise both the increase in settlements in the occupied Palestinian territories and the very worrying increase in violence in relation to settlements, and we condemn that completely, and we've put in place sanctions in October to reflect the strength of our feeling on these questions. In relation to trade with settlements, we are very clear about our position in relation to settlements. We update that guidance to British businesses routinely. We're not an outlier in this. This is the same approach that the European Union takes as well. But we advise British businesses in pretty strong terms to bear in mind our view on the illegality of settlements under international law when considering their investments and activities in the region. That is quite a strong statement from the British government. Were I a British business, I would not